The New England Patriots have officially completed one of the fastest rebuilds in NFL history. And in just 1 year, they went from back-to-back top 5 picks to the Super Bowl. And yeah, I think we've all heard it. The Patriots are back and, you know, the whole mantra, we've heard it all enough and we just continue to roll our eyes. But this time, honestly, it feels a little bit different because this wasn't luck. This wasn't a fluke playoff run. This was all calculated. While the rest of the league was assuming that the dynasty was dying with Bill Belichick, ownership doubled down on the foundation that made it dominant in the first place, and Robert Kraft didn't panic. Instead, he retooled and he replaced the brain of the original dynasty with one of Belichick's most trusted foot soldiers. And just like that, the Patriots, they were contenders again. But how did they do it? How did the New England Patriots go from rebuilding at the bottom of the draft to now outmaneuvering and outclassing the other 31 teams and positioning themselves to stay on top for years to come? Well, this is the timeline of how the New England Patriots completed one of the fastest rebuilds in.
We get the back to Brady. It is now official. Tom Brady will be leaving the New England Patriots. He will be playing his career elsewhere. This is not about where he will be playing. He has not decided that yet, but he will be playing his career elsewhere. He is leaving the New England Patriots.
Oh, okay. Now, hold up, because that may not be as far back as we need to go, but it is still important context at least. You see, when Brady took his 6 rings and left back in 2019, Bill Belichick stayed on board with the Patriots, and after a mess of a 2020 season, they went to the draft for answers where they actually found something.
Wow, it is Jones.
They finished just below 500 in 2022, which was disappointing, but it did seem like they were still doing things the right way, especially after they had a solid 2020.
This is a great spot for him, and this is a great pick for the Patriots. I mean, they trade down and get the guy I think is the #1 corner in this draft. He's long, he's athletic, he will fit in perfectly with how they want to play their defense. I love this pick.
That's the thing though, even with exciting talents like Christian Gonzalez, Kayshon Boutte, and Pop Douglas, they couldn't save themselves from an embarrassing 4-13 2023 season, which was their worst in 30 years. And that's the thing too, after that season where they didn't play that well, a lot of people began to question Bill Belichick and if he still had anything left in the tank of this so-called dynasty or just kind of his coaching abilities. And well, as we all saw at the end of the 2023 season, they were answered pretty swiftly.
We met and mutually agreed to part ways amicably.
Like after 24 years under Bill Belichick's stewardship, the Patriots would now have a new head coach. And that wasn't all. In 2024, the Patriots were cleaning house.
You know, if you were to tell me at the start of last season that neither Bill Belichick or Mac Jones was going to be here, I'd say you got to be kidding me.
So now with Mac Jones on his way to his new home in Jacksonville and the 3rd overall pick in their hands, the Patriots were gearing up for a full-scale rebuild. But Bill Belichick is always going to be a tough act to follow, and New England had a lot of questions they had to answer. Did they want a similar type of coach, or did that even exist? Or was Bill Belichick just a one-of-one? Thankfully for them though, he had picked his successor and it was inside linebacker coach Gerard Mayo. It was a guy who knew what it took to win in Foxborough as a player who was stepping up as a first-time head coach, and considering how much time he had spent around Belichick, the coaching philosophy he outlined in his introductory press conference caught many by surprise.
One thing you'll notice about me in our interaction as we continue to go is I don't like echo chambers. I want people around me that are going to question my ideas or question the way we have done things in the past. Because realistically, this game's a lot different than when I was drafted in 2008. At the same time, that's why I try to spend so much time in developing young men and young women so they know I don't want to teach them, what to think. I want to teach them how to think. And once we get to that point, I think we can get back to where we need to be at the top.
And look, on the surface, that honestly sounds, pretty good. I mean, listen to everybody, let the guys ball, and don't do it by the way everybody's always done it. It was definitely a change of pace, especially from the Patriot way that they had always had with Belichick, but honestly, it was a good change of pace, right? And even when the draft rolled around, their quarterback was the most obvious position of need, and we already know who they took at that 3rd overall pick.
With the 3rd pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the New England Patriots select Drake May.
That's the thing though, for as exciting as Drake May was, the situation that was waiting for him in New England was far from ideal.
I think now the thing is just doing right by the kid. Right. I think that's the most important thing. So many of these guys get screwed up because they're in bad environments. And You know, I've said it before, like there are very few guys who are good enough to overcome bad circumstances. I think Andrew Luck might be one example, but they ruined him in the end. If you look at like a lot of the guys, and I'm not saying Mahomes wouldn't have gotten there, or Allen wouldn't have gotten there, or Burrow wouldn't have gotten there, but what you see with those guys is consistent, good coaching, good players around them. And so now it's on the Patriots to do the rest of the job, which is surround the kid with a good environment so he can grow in the right way.
All right, y'all, had to take a quick time out in today's video to talk about today's sponsor, Momentous, because they didn't just invent creatine, they completely changed the game about it. Creatine, it's one of the most researched supplements in the entire world. But that's the thing, the issue isn't if it works, it does. The problem with it is that you need to do it consistently. And because of that reason too, that's why I choose Momentous, because they have their everyday creatine chews. Like without a doubt, it is the gold standard of creatine monohydrate. And on top of that too, it is certified for any sport that you need to play. And on top of that will help you get those gains that you need. And look, it's super important that you take your creatine every day. I take it honestly every single day with my electrolytes, and it helps your body produce more ATP, which means better strength, power, and high intensity output. And overall, it just supports cognitive performance. So it's going to help with your focus, clarity, and that mental energy, even at work. And look, with these chews, it is honestly so easy to do. No mixing, no scoops, none of that crazy stuff, or even if you don't want to put it in your coffee or anything, just take 5 of these small chews and you've hit your creatine for the day. For me, because I do go to the gym every day, the high performance, it's not seasonal and kind of comes and goes with the NFL season. It is a daily routine that I take this so that way I can be the best in the gym when I'm in there. So if you want something simple, science-backed, and built to the highest standard, Momentous creatine chews are making consistency that much easier. So thank you to Momentous for sponsoring today's video, and get up to 35% off your first order by using my link in the description below or my code KRICH to try Momentous's creatine chews today. Again, thank you for sponsoring today's video, and let's get back into the content. And yeah, of course, as we all know, because of just how bad the Patriots were as a whole in his rookie season, he really just did not have any time to develop or really was given any chance to develop. Like there was next to no talent around him on offense and more damningly, no belief in the locker room. And even if we flash back to Mayo's introductory press conference, it turns out that his attempt to run as a collaborative locker room wound up undermining his authority. And from different articles and just from the sounds of it too, he wanted to be a player's coach like Mike Tomlin, but what happened instead is that the 38-year-old Mayo had blurred the line between the two. And Robert Kraft wasn't going to let this happen, so just hours after the season finale, he hit the reset button again.
I wouldn't say that I was disappointed, but I wouldn't say I was happy.
So now with this young roster entering the 2025 offseason without any direction, would Drake May have to start from scratch and learn a whole new offense? And yeah, absolutely actually, but it turned out to be the best thing that could have happened for him and the Patriots.
How does it feel?
Feels amazing. Feels comfortable.
Same background, completely different credentials, and Mike Vrabel arrived and instantly brought a different energy to the Patriots organization, sparking cautious optimism for the 2025 season.
When they hired Gerard at the press conference, a big word that was used was collaboration. All right, a collaboration and everybody's input and all of this stuff. Well, I don't know how much it is that anymore, and I think that's a good thing, because Vrabel isn't going to joke around. Vrabel's going to tighten the screws. In my opinion, there are some people in the front office that need to be told, you don't know what you're doing, and you need to take a step back. Because someone's coming into that organization now that has conviction, that will let you collaborate. He'll work with people. Yeah, sure, he'll work with you. But I'm telling you, this guy's smarter than you are.
That's the thing too. It's not that just Vrabel brought experience with him. It was obvious that his coaching mentality was much closer to a modern Bill Belichick than Gerard Mayo was ever during his tenure. But that's the thing. He knew he couldn't bring back the old Patriot way alone, so he had to enlist some Patriots legends.
Josh is so versatile in his ability to attack, let alone he's going to coach Drake May and teach him things that he's going to be like, whoa, I never learned, nobody taught me this. Yep. Or little nuances in certain plays that are going to go, I don't really like this play, but oh, wait, you teach it like that, and now you change the guy's route just a little. I kind of like it.
And that's the thing too. If Josh McDaniels could get Pro Bowl level play out of Mac Jones, the thought was that he could turn Drake May into a genuinely exciting player for Patriots fans. And also with more cap space at their disposal than any other team in the league, Elliott Wolf went on an absolute spending spree. First, he locked down the top interior defensive lineman on the market in Milton Williams for $104 million over 4 years. This was a big deal for more than just the sum of the money though.
You got a guy to come here who normally wouldn't just come here. Good. Okay.
There we go. That's different. I put that in a different category than what we've seen so far.
Like, New England was actually becoming an attractive free agency destination, and on top of Williams, they landed Pro Bowl talent in Harold Landry, Super Bowl champion Carlton Davis, and one of the league's leading tacklers in Robert Spillane. So now with the defense cleaned up, it was finally time to get Drake May some weapons, and one name stole all of the headlines.
Look, this is also something that the Patriots just needed. This was not a very good wide receiver room for New England. This is now you want to call it the third wave of free agency. This is an aging wide receiver, someone with a lot of pelts on the wall in Stephon Diggs, who is coming off an ACL, so you're going to have to spend a little bit in order to make sure that you get him.
On top of Diggs, New England brought in Mac Hollins to give May a big perimeter target, and they rounded out their free agency haul with veteran offensive lineman Garrett Bradbury and Morgan Moses, who slotted right in next to the starting lineup. In the 2025 draft, though, that's where they took care of business on the left side of their line by drafting tackle Will Campbell and center Jared Wilson, who was shortly moved to guard right after the draft too, and May got an electric running back in the second round in the form of Travion Henderson. So yeah, I think it's safe to say that Vrabel picked guys that were going to be easy cultural fits for this team.
Well, you are brought to New England to protect Drake May. What kind of tone are you going to set on this offensive line?
I'm gonna fight and die to protect them with everything I've got.
And yeah, they may have started the season 1-2, but the Patriots were clearly a different team than they were of their 2024 version. Even in their first primetime appearance of the year, they stunned the 5-time reigning division champs in Buffalo, and the second-year quarterback in Drake May outplayed Josh Allen, and Stephon Diggs couldn't help but notice just how far this young quarterback had come in such a short amount of time.
And you told us that this guy right here reminds you of a young Josh Allen. Did you see those stiff arms and what this guy was doing tonight? Yeah.
He was running around, he was making plays. You can't say it didn't look Josh Allen-like, but that's Drake May.
Like, this wasn't just early season hype. May continued to play at an MVP level for the rest of the season, while the defense was shutting down opponents and shattering expectations on a weekly basis.
If I told you at the beginning of July, when we're getting ready to get to training camp, that your football team would be 8-2, 10 games in, what would you say?
I'd take it.
You'd take it?
Yeah, I'd take it.
The Patriots then went 10 games unbeaten heading into their bye, but not even a loss to Buffalo in Week 15 could dent their playoff ambitions. And that's the thing too, for the first time since Tom Brady left, New England won the AFC East, which is exactly how Vrabel drew it up.
April 7th, we said 3 things. Win the division, host home playoff games, compete for championships. Okay, so we got the first one taken care of. This season is far from being over. Okay, we can celebrate this and enjoy this. It's far from being over. So congratulations. Okay, all the credit goes to you guys.
And then once the playoffs even rolled around too, that confidence never went away. And I know, Drake May and the offense may have not looked their best at multiple points in the playoffs, but the defense stepped up massively. With a mix of guys they drafted like Gonzalez, Barrymore, and Jones, as well as their free agent arrivals like Williams and Davis, they all played their part. Like, in a matter of months, Vrabel had turned a first-round bust in Clavon Chasen into the most disruptive edge rusher of the postseason. And then with the help of Josh McDaniels, he turned Drake May into one of the best quarterbacks this entire season, and even an untouchable diva wide receiver like Stephon Diggs all of a sudden became a veteran leader on a Super Bowl roster.
Pats Nation, y'all did a great job. We got one more to go. For everybody that's traveling, travel safe. Hey, man, it's time to get after, man. We all we got.
Like, that's what it means to build culture. That's how you lay the foundations for sustained success. And talent, sure, it's one thing, but developing these guys as both players and men is how dynasties are built. Because when there's a clear mission and a clear way of going about completing that mission, the entire organization moves as one in achieving that goal, which is exactly what we're seeing from Mike Vrabel's New England Patriots. And honestly, it's what makes them so scary. And sure, Bill Belichick, he dominated for 2 decades with one of the clearest but most demanding coaching philosophies the NFL had ever seen, and Vrabel is honestly the same similar style. Like, reaching the Super Bowl in his first year on the job is not just inspiring, it's indicative of how contagious this culture really is. The more they win, the more they buy into it, and the longer we'll have to hear about another Patriots dynasty building. But as always, if you did enjoy this video, make sure you guys click some other ones. We do have the one that we just did on the Seahawks. And honestly, is there a faster rebuild that we might have missed? And give me some ideas down in the comments. But as always, K-Rich out.